So you're thinking of getting a 100 horsepower bike, upper middle class bike with around 100 horsepower, like this one here, which has 105 as a beginner. So let me give you a little bit of an first-hand experience. I'm a beginner. That's my very first bike. I immediately jumped on this one. It's a Svartpilen 801. It has 100, 105, 800 cc, and I'm riding it now for 4 weeks with almost 1,000 kilometers. We'll bring you a review soon after I had my first service next week. So why did I choose this bike? I was test riding the 401, but I wasn't too much of a fan, not powerful enough, and this one is just right for me. Let's get on the bike. Today in first person view. Let's turn this baby on. And start it up. Why did I choose the 801 over the 401? It's quite funny, I was looking for months at the 401. I really like the style, like the idea, this little bit scrambling idea. When I talked to my driving instructor about it, he was immediately telling me, no, you should get a big bike. You will be bored after a year. I was a little bit surprised about that because I thought I'm the reasonable guy, making the reasonable decision to not go for a big bike as a beginner, and he was the opposite. So that was interesting. But it's not what I expected. So I was thinking about it, and I was looking what alternatives there might be, and then I saw the 801, and I really liked the idea, style. And after I got my driving license, I test rode the 401, and I can tell you, because I was learning on the SV650, I could feel the difference immediately. I really loved the looks, I loved the ergonomics, I loved the feel, but I could tell that the power was just way less. And so I tried to get an appointment to ride the 801. When I sat on that, it's basically the same as the 401. Awesome looks, awesome comfort sitting on it. It just had the power on my right hand that seems endless for a beginner at least. So yeah, I'm really enjoying it. I have no issues with the power. I mean, it has all the safety features. Controls your wheelie, has traction control, ABS, all the things you might want from a bike that's modern. So what are the general pros and cons for a big bike over a small bike? So what are the pros of having a bike with more power, an upper middle class bike? I mean, yeah, of course. First one is having power, right? With power comes versatility, and with versatility comes, a longer lifespan, more value. Bigger bike has bigger feature pack. And, you can grow with the bike. And the cons, obviously, is the power. Sure. Is that it's more expensive, and maybe also more expensive to insure, and all the running costs associated. And obviously way more dangerous, or you can actually get into troubles easily if you're not taking it seriously. So what's the pro of power? mean, having this power means that, you know, you can stick in second gear if you want to and drive all the legal speed that the public roads are offering you. With the power, you can also play with the idea to go to a track and have some fun on the track. Yeah, all this power you have, 105 in this case, leads to versatility. So you can go on the motorway without any problems. You can do a tour. You can just cruise like I do right now as a daily commute. You're never limited to anything. And you're also not completely overpowered like on a sports bike 1000cc or 600cc where you're sitting very uncomfortably. And with that versatility comes value, as I mentioned, because, you know, the resale value stays higher for a bike like this. It's the upper middle class. It comes with way more features, right? It has a richer feature pack. So you have all the safety features you could dream of. You might be able to adjust your dampness. You might have control over your driving modes and all these things. One of the other points is, after 1 year, that bike is still enough, right? After 5 years, this bike is still enough. So you don't have to worry about you getting bored or, you know, want to do more things, because, like I mentioned, the versatility might not be there for 400 or a smaller bike, and then you just get the idea, oh, I would like to do a long trip, you know, crazy camping adventure with the bike, and then you're stuck with a small machine. With this one, after you feel comfortable enough to do these kind of things, you can do it. But that brings us to the cons, obviously, right? Because with great power comes great responsibility. And not everyone has that kind of responsibility. I don't know if you heard about the Danny Kruger effect, but many people are just idiots, let's be honest. If you give a guy in his early 20s a bike like this, and he thinks he's the king of the street after 2 months, sooner or later he will drop the bike, and you're not responsible, because you can't see the consequences of your life choices in 5 to 10 years. It's like giving a monkey an AK that's loaded and safety's off. Not a good idea. And yeah, the bike costs more money, that's for sure, right? So that's something you have to consider. It costs more money to run, costs more money to maintain, and costs more money to insure. A bigger bike like this is obviously also way more heavy. So if you don't have a good education on bikes from your driving school, and you only learned for 2 days on a parking lot like some of you guys in the US are doing, then yes, a bike like this will scare you. And that brings me already then to the right person for the right bike. Because we here in Germany, we get a really comprehensive education before we're allowed to drive bikes. There's a tiering system they do for the young folks. Tiering system from A1 to A2 to the full license, the A license, which I got directly. And you have to be 24 to get the A license. And before that you would have to do the A1, which only lets you drive 125 cc's, and the A2, which lets you drive up to the Svartpilen 401 basically, like 45 horsepower, and then the full license, which lets you drive like unlimited. And yeah, like I said, you need to have 2 years of traffic experience, and you need to be 24 to do it. For me, for instance, I have more than 20 years experience driving a car. I'm a very forward-thinking driver, and trust me, guys, I like motorsports. I'm not a passive driver that is careful all the time. I'm someone who's offensive. I take my spots. I drive fast, and I'm used to driving the German Autobahn. I'm used to driving 200 kilometers an hour for 2 hours straight. So driving anything powerful is nothing new to me. For me, it was just about learning to handle the bike, basically. But still, I was so reasonable and sensible that I thought, oh, it might make sense to get a 400 first, get used to bikes, and then get onto the big bike, right? But sitting on the small 400, I was like, oh no, if I get that bike, I will drive it like a hooligan, because you get to the limits of it very fast. And then it's just a matter of time that you make a mistake, because you just think, oh, it's so easy to ride this bike. So yeah, you need to know your character, and your history. If you already have a driver's license and you have many close calls, you already had severe incidences, crashes, and accidents. Like for me, I'm driving for more than 20 years a car. I've driven it all purposes, 16 hours straight through the nights, many times. I've done it all. I've seen almost everything, but I always say, if you haven't seen everything, you can always be surprised again. I mean, I'm without any incident or accident. I never had to use my insurance or the insurance of someone else. So if you know that you're someone like this, then sure, you can ride whatever you want. You're the person that just needs to decide what's the right bike for me, right? The perfect bike for me, I know that would be I would be this typical ADV dad, right? Sitting on a GS from BMW. It has all the features you want. You can adjust the windshield. It has everything. It's perfect. I like multi-purpose things, right? I like to have a Swiss Army knife. But I wanted to have something sexy, and then there's the budget as well, right? This one here costs like 12,500, and the GS is like so much more expensive. I wanted to have something that flicks into the corners. This one does. It feels light. It is a light bike and not so sluggish. So if you are someone who's a beginner, who has no experience, and you want to, power through corners, you should start on a small bike to get used to it, for sure. If you know that you're someone who's driving intelligently, and for you it's about cruising, it doesn't matter how much power the bike has. It should just have all the safety features that are associated with modern bikes, so that you're doing the intelligent thing, right? So that's basically my take on it. There's no right and wrong. There's just the right bike for the right person, and you need to know what kind of person you are and what bike would make most sense for you then. But for sure, putting you on a sports bike, a 1000cc, a 600cc, as a beginner, that's stupid. Those bikes have power bands, which you can't foresee, and then you will make mistakes. this bike here is perfect for beginners, I think. For people that are experienced in traffic and have a level head on their shoulders, that's a good beginner bike, because it gives you everything you want. It's nimble, it's light, it has all the power you will ever want and need, and it has a great and awesome feature pack. And that the same would be true for the MT-09. And then an MT-10 or an S1000R, they're just so much more expensive, and I just didn't see the point in getting this extra horsepower for that kind of money. So yeah, these are my 2 cents. I hope that's helpful for you guys. Leave a comment, let me know what you think, let me know what your experiences are. If you want to know some more about this bike or bikes like this from the perspective as a beginner, let me know. See you next time.